I want to shift gears a little bit to kind of the technical fundamentals of singing a little bit. I've seen a lot of volunteers in church. They sign up to sing. Maybe they have a gift, maybe they have a calling, maybe it's none of those things, but they're passionate about it. And all of a sudden, they've auditioned in some form or fashion, and now they're on the worship team and they're singing as a background vocalist, whatever that means. And they show up probably thinking like, for sure, there's going to be some training and some resources. And a lot of churches do this well, but a lot that you would expect to do it really well, like don't at all. So from the front of house perspective, I see the same thing over and over again, or I hear it. Low notes will disappear on the lower register. High notes explode. Both of those, pitch gets a little flat. On the high note specifically, tone becomes harsh.
Yeah.
And then from a front of house perspective at audio, I'm like hacking away all these details of somebody's vocal. And now it doesn't even represent who they are, just to get it to be pleasant to listen to for a congregation to be able to worship to without like wincing at it. So what is it that's actually happening there?
Yeah, there are a couple culprits here that cause this, and it's incredibly common. Um, like you said, uh, breath support. 95% of every vocal issue is a breath problem, whether that's tone or pitch or resonance or cracking or whatever it is. 95% of the time, it's a breath issue. So when we talk, we're really just getting enough air and um, the way that we prepare to make noise is just to talk, just to make noise. I don't have to have crazy control in dynamics to speak the sentence that I'm speaking right now. It's all pretty much the same. Then we get to sing and we do the same mechanism of breathing. And it actually has to be a totally different mechanism of breathing, totally different way. And you have to breathe deep down into the bottom of your lungs, and it's wild to think that you can actually select which part of your lungs that you inflate, but
Mm.
your lungs aren't balloons. They're tiny little, they're sponges with tiny little alveoli, which basically you can think of just like the material of a sponge. And you can inflate the bottom or the top or the middle
Mm.
or all of it, and you can choose. And so if you think about keeping your shoulders down where they don't move at all, and then taking a deep breath, your body will force itself to breathe and fill the bottom of your lungs. Why that's important? Yeah, just like that. And you
Yeah.
can very easily tell. All you have to do, especially on like Zoom calls or like this, is if you're breathing, I shouldn't even be able to tell you're breathing if you're doing it right.
Mm.
Stomach should be coming out. The reason why that is so effective is because all of the muscles that are responsible for exhaling, which is the vehicle of vocal power, they're all surrounding the bottom part of your lungs. So just like when you're trying to squeeze out the last bit of toothpaste in a toothpaste tube, you're trying to get the toothpaste all the way to the end, and then you squeeze where the toothpaste is. That's what's actually going to get it to come out most effectively. The same thing here. You're putting all your air in the bottom of your lungs, and that's where your muscles are that constrict your lungs to make the most air, give you the most power. And that's when just showing people that I've consistently will improve their range by like a step or maybe a step and a
Mm.
half, um, and increase their stamina by like 300%. It's just that just that alone will
Yeah.
will change the tone of their higher notes, and yeah, we'll fix a lot of those problems.
If someone's never been professionally trained, what is one like pitch fundamental that they should remember?
What I tell people is the preparation that you need to warm up your pitch basically, um, because singing with good pitch is just singing with good intervals. So if I'm singing, "Mary had a little lamb," I'm
Mm.
singing with good pitch when I'm jumping from Mary, and I land straight in the center of that note. That's how we sing with good pitch. That's all about intervals. So I would say
Mm.
first thing you have to do, and this could be coaching, this could be just self-assessment, hopefully self-assessment, but if it's not working, then you need someone to help you. Know what the right pitch sounds like, and have a high standard to reach that, the center of the pitch, not the top part of it, not the bottom part of it, straight in the center of the pitch. What does that sound like? And sometimes you need someone to say, "That's not it." In practice, not just, "Hey, I heard you sing and you're flat and your pitch
Right.
sucks." Not like that. To show you what it sounds like. And I've coached people where I'm literally like,
Mm,
"Oh, little higher, oh, too high, little lower." I mean, that kind of a thing. You
mm.
just do it yourself. But if you need a coach, that's what it looks like. And then once you're there, stay there and take note of what that feels like, what it sounds like, and tell yourself, "That's the note. Not a cent higher or lower. That's the note." And now we jump to the next one and we do the same thing until we jump right into the center of the next note. Not like we're jumping jumping from this stone to this stone and then we're wobbling and then no, how do we actually jump from here to here with perfect balance right in the center of the note? And it's that practice of slow motion singing where I'm going, Mary had. See, that had for me was just a tad sharp, so then I'm gonna go back. We had that felt way better. So after I do that slow motion interval training, when I sing at full speed, it's a world of difference.
Mm.
And then it's again, it's focus and knowing, like, that's my goal. Most people don't have a goal, when they're singing as far as pitch goes. They're just singing, and if it sounds bad, someone will tell them, and if it doesn't sound awful, then no one will say anything, and then that's the standard. It's about putting yourself to a higher standard with pitch.
Man, that's incredible. I think for me in audio, I for the longest time in my career, and I wish I knew this, it probably applies to vocalists as well. I did not have a goal of what I wanted the final mix to sound like.
Mm,
I just wanted every instrument, and so we're going through sound check, and I'm checking the kick drum. I just wanted every instrument to sound good by itself, and then when I mix them all together, I'm like, I
mm.
think is this right?" So probably like, a similar thing, you have to have an end goal in mind before you even start practicing. Something that came to mind is when bankers or when you're trying to find counterfeit bills, you just study the real bill over and over again. And I feel like that's kind of what you're talking about the center of the pitch, the center of the note. It is you know what that is, so that way you know when you're off of it. How can someone and then we move on to next, but this is it's really, really good stuff, and I'm thinking about, like, teams that I've worked with in the past just eating this up. But how can somebody train their ear if they don't know what the center of that note is? Is it like a piano app? Is it listening to demo tracks over and over? Or how do you do that thing?
Yeah, piano, I would say, is a primary instrument there. Piano or any type of, um, instrument where you can push a button basically or a piano key, whether that's a synth, like a sine wave, something really smooth, or a piano note, but something that is consistent and
Mm,
perfect, um, and then try to match that exactly, and then jump to the next note. And most people won't do that. They think it's too elementary. They think, "Do the best singers sing this?" I don't know. I do. I
mm.
do, for sure. That's, like, one of the most pivotal warm-ups that I do that I would attach to singing well for me. When I've sung great, it's because I've literally sat with a piano or in my head heard the piano and walked like a toddler through this melody. That's what it takes, and yeah, piano is the primary thing, and if someone's not quite getting it there and they think they're on and they're not sure if they're on or if that's the right, just have a friend who has a good ear to just walk you through, and again, it feels elementary, and it even feels like, "I must be tone deaf if I have to go to this." Like, no, 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 no. You're just setting the right standard. It's just, you just have to know what it looks like, what it sounds like. You have to, and if you ignore it, you're just gonna be the person that doesn't sing on pitch, and then everyone, like, is afraid to tell you.
Yeah, so no shame in going back and making sure that your foundation is completely spot on because you're on stage and there's so much room for error. And I feel like if your foundation is 5% off while you're singing live and performing that thing, it's exponential. You're 50 or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's so
Mhm.
hard to
Sure.
wrap everything around, so your baseline has to be spot on. Really quick, we talked about fundamental for pitch, listening through that. What is if someone's never been professionally trained, like, one quick takeaway that they could practice or one fundamental that they should remember for breath support?
It's gotta be that, your gas pedal is in your gut. It's when you power is just powerful singing is just powerful breathing. That's all that a powerful note is, and the way to the only way that you're gonna do that is breathing into the bottom of your stomach and the bottom of your lungs and pushing out that way, and that takes breathing warm-ups like that, and making sure it's in the right place and practicing until that's second nature when you're singing. I tell myself before I sing, I do that breathing and go, "This is how I sing. This is how I breathe when I sing. This is a singer's breath. I sing and breathe like this." I'm just repeating those things
Mm.
to myself to get those neural pathways solid
Hmm.
so that I can deliver um, the best breath when I'm singing.
The self-coaching on that is so important. You wake like, have you heard those, they're like motivational speakers? It's like, "Write this on your bathroom mirror and repeat it to yourself every day," and it feels so dumb and cheesy until you've done it for a month, and you're like, "Oh, now I embody that," you
Yep,
know?
yep,
It's that neural pathway is stronger than I think we give it credit to. Cool, and so do you have resources on your page, Instagram, for all of this, or is there some other but do you have, like, breath support, pitch, fundamental stuff?
I do.
Sweet.
There's a course called Vocal Foundations that goes over pretty much everything we just talked about. It dips into how I warm up, and you need to warm up 4 or 5 different things apart from your voice. Your mind, your breathing
Mm,
muscle, your facial muscles, your pitch, and then, of course, your vocal cords actually vocalizing. And so, yeah, Vocal Foundations is the course that I go through
sweet.
all of
I'm
that.
buying it.
Yeah, oh, good. And
Cool.
yeah, that's all on my Instagram link in bio type of thing.
Sweet.
You just like Clark Beckham School of Music, and I've got music theory stuff there and how to sing runs, um, all all kinds of stuff. My personal warm up, vocal recovery protocol, just being around amazing singers and doing this professionally for 10 years, um, I've seen I've gone through all the gimmicks. I know what works, I know what doesn't work. I know what
Yeah.
people get really hype on and, like, trend is, like, a really heavy trend that doesn't work and what does, and, basically, these courses are like, "Alright, here's the no fluff stuff that I do. I've gone through all the hard learning for you. Like, here's
Heck yeah.
the good stuff after, 10 years of doing this."